Here we go now.
Hey, y'all. Happy Friday. Happy Good Friday. Happy Good Friday. Happy Passover. Let me know if you guys can hear me, see me, all that good stuff. This is our Friday Live, where we cover a variety of different hot topics from reality television to politics and so much more. How's everyone doing? We were live yesterday, so I don't want to regurgitate any of the things that we talked about yesterday. So if you missed it, I did add the timestamps. You're welcome to our live yesterday, so be sure to check that out. Hey, Lexi. Lexi says, we see you and hear you. Thank you. And if you're watching on Twitch, you hear and see me even better. That's what they say. Hey, Judy. Hope you're feeling better. Hey, L. Singleton sending blessings from Connecticut. Thank you. Happy Easter, y'all. There's so many holidays happening right now. So happy Passover. Happy Good Friday. Happy early Easter. Happy early birthday to Taria Faison from the What Else Is Going On podcast. Happy Aries season to anyone that celebrates. Okay. Happy birthday, Winter. Just so it's Winter's birthday. Shout out to all the Aries of the channel. We appreciate you guys. I mean, we wish y'all would stop being so bossy, but you know. I kid. I know a lot of Aries. Maybe too much. Taria says I've been blessed by God by knowing this many Aries in my life. I don't know about that lie, but spoken like a true Aries, right? All right. It is a members only live chat. So shout out to all of you that are members of the channel. We appreciate you guys being here for our special Friday live. We have a lot of things to get into. Flunky of the week is going to go to Pam Bondi. No. I don't have an image of her right now because who wants to look at Pam Bondi's face at this particular point? No one. You know, yesterday we had the breaking news that Pam Bondi, the now former, well, she will be the former Attorney General of the Department of Justice, was, they're saying fired, but Donald Trump didn't say that she was fired. He says she's moving into another position, but according to the streets, she doesn't have a job. They're saying the reason why Pam Bondi was let go was because of her handling of the Jeffrey Epstein files, even though Congress would say that she did not do what she was supposed to do based on the law when it comes to the Jeffrey Epstein files. I mean, I think that's part of the reason why he's not throwing her under the bus. He's not being derogatory towards her, because I do believe she has seen things in those files that we still have not seen when it comes to Donald Trump. And that is probably the card that she's holding close to her chest, and how she's going to be able to secure her next spot. However, for those that are excited about Pam Bondi no longer being Attorney General, the Deputy Attorney General who represented Donald Trump in that case that they lost is going to replace her. So it's not much better. It's not much better. You have to, in regards to handling a situation like what we're in when it comes to the United States and the politics and the administration that we have, you have to word my words very correctly, because in this day and age, this is not a free country anymore. You have to change administrations. Okay? That is the way that it has to happen. Okay? So you can be excited that Pam Bondi is being fired, but very much like Kristi Noem, it hasn't really changed much of anything. Okay? So I say all that to say she's our flunky of the week. Yay. Flunky of the week. I also saw that Donald Trump asked Congress to give him over $1 trillion for the Department of War. I really don't want to call the Department of, what it used to be called? The Department of Defense. Now he's calling it the Department of War. Whoever becomes president next has to clean up so much crap. But here's the thing. Unfortunately, what Donald Trump is doing to this country is going to take even more years than the next president can even clean up. And he's doing that intentionally. But this is what some of you voted for. Okay. Fine. All right. Moving along. Thank you so much for the dislike. For the one person that disliked, you probably a MAGA person. Chilli, was that you that disliked the video? Sidebar. Speaking of MAGA, I saw that, what was it, Midas Touch, they did a report on how Chilli has been trying to clean up her likes on social media because she's been caught out there when it comes to certain likes. Do I still have the picture of all of the... Oh, I do. Let me show it to y'all. Please hold. I didn't even plan to talk about Chilli, but here we are. This is what Friday Live is about. These are the posts that Chilli from TLC, you know who she is. I'm surprised they haven't announced a new performer for It's Iconic tour. Okay. So as you can see here, for those that are watching this, if you're listening to the podcast, there are there are Instagram posts that Chilli has liked that people have discovered, and she's trying to clean it up. Atlantic Scope, I guess ATL Scoop reported on these different articles when it comes to Donald Trump winning the election and different parts, when he won Georgia, blah, blah, blah. And you see that Chilli liked these posts. Is she going to come out next and say that she just likes everything? It was an accident? In all fairness, very much like the repost excuse. Very true. Sometimes yesterday, I accidentally, as I was swiping through Instagram, reposted something. I was like, oh, hold on. No, you're not going Chilli. It wasn't even a bad post, though. But I was just sort of like, oh, I accidentally reposted something I didn't mean to repost. I'm sure those 4 images that you see here on my screen where Chilli liked, Chilli, I don't, here's the thing. I probably would, I don't know if I would respect her more. But I could respect her more if she didn't lie to our face, claiming to be, I'm about love and honesty and blah, 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 blah. Only for us to come out, you saying that you're not MAGA, you are MAGA. The receipts are there from your reposts, from your likes, from your donations. It's very clear that you're MAGA and you had a tour to save, so you came on looking like a hostage in a hotel room. That's what it looked like. Come on. Looking like a hostage in a hotel room, claiming that you're not MAGA. And clearly, you are MAGA. Own it, girl. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it. Lies! The lie! You join the rest of the folks, but at least own it. But you don't want to own it because you know the large majority of the people that like your music and that would buy those tickets are not. Foxy says she should just own it. Own it, but she can't. She can't own it because that would mean this would be the final nail in the coffin. I think people already knew that she was MAGA for a while now, but it just came out even more during the announcement of the tour. But as I've said before, in all fairness, because I like to be fair if I can be. I'm human, though. I can't always be fair. Your president isn't fair, so why do I need to be? In all fairness, though, y'all need to have the same energy, though, for Snoop, for Nelly, for Amber Rose. And I know some of you are like, we do. No, not a lot of people. You see Kanye West. Kanye West's album is at the top of the charts. I'm seeing people in the blogs talking about, oh my God, he's such a musical genius. It's such a musical genius. All right? Such a musical. But y'all forgot how he sold y'all under the bus. Y'all forgot that he was anti-Semitic. Y'all want to talk about when people say free Palestine, y'all want to call those people anti-Semitic. However, y'all probably still over there listening to Kanye's music. Okay. I'm not accusing our audience of this. I'm just pointing out because I know there are people that are going to watch this and say like, well, okay. Mr. Mellon imagines that he was a musical genius. He could still be a musical genius. Does that change the fact that he was MAGA? Does it change the fact that he was anti-Semitic? It doesn't. And we all said this when he issued that public apology recently in, what was it, the Wall Street Journal? One of the rags. He made that public long statement. And I said, is there an album coming? And you all said, yeah, Kempire, I believe an album's coming. And here we are. His new album just dropped. Does Kanye really mean it? I just noticed a difference in regards to how black men are treated versus black women when they're defending MAGA. I'm not saying that the women defending MAGA don't deserve the heat, but it's definitely not equal. But anyway, I just had flunkies of the week. Just add all of those people. Chilli, Pam Bondi, Kanye, all of them. Nelly, Snoop, 50 Cent. Y'all forget about that one too. Not 50 Cent. I said 50 Cent. Maybe not Cynthia Bailey. Because some of y'all gonna think it's Cynthia. No. 50 Cent. All of those folks. Okay, all of those folks. And probably Diddy too. Diddy probably he was waiting to get freed and pardoned. But didn't happen. So he's gonna have to serve his time. So maybe he'll hold on to any dignity he has left. Is there any? All right. Guys, thank you so much for 200 likes. We appreciate it. I appreciate you all being here for our Friday Live. And we just wanted to start that off. I didn't even plan to talk about the Chilli of it all, but I said, hey, since I forgot to get my Flunky of the Week graphic, but here we are. All right, moving on from there. Let me actually open my notes. Where do I want to start? You know what? Let me start with one of our shows. Let's start with one of our shows because I have a lot to talk about today, from Ladies of London, Real Housewives of Rhode Island, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I want to talk about that Jen Shah interview. I don't know if you guys saw the Jen Shah interview that she did with People Magazine with David. Oh, that's not Jen Shah. Might as well be, though. Jen Shah interview she did with People Magazine. I watched it this morning. We'll talk about it. And Ciara and West. Did y'all hear that they may have hooked up like weeks before the announcement that Amanda and West were together? So was he cheating with Amanda? Or maybe Amanda and him are not exclusive? I don't know. But that's the latest report. I will get to that in just a second. But let me talk about Ladies of London, because I literally just watched Ladies of London. For those that don't know, we have been recapping and talking about Ladies of London every single Friday here. Just go back and watch our Friday lives and go to the timestamp for those that may have missed it. I'm still enjoying Ladies of London. But I told you, Ladies of London, they're going to get away with painting a narrative of who they are, because here in the States, we don't really know who they are and we don't have sources, but that's why I'm here. So all of my London, UK sources, I need y'all to send me the DMs about the real deal when it comes to some of these people. Like Mark. Because Mark Francis, I told you, I was like, I think he's great for television. Don't get me wrong. I think he's funny. I think he leans into being the villain. But I also told you, I don't believe the money is moneying. I don't believe the stature is staturing. I love the fact that Margot called him out like, well, you want to talk about me? You talking about how people are telling you that I'm different than I am. Well, I believe that you're a bag holder for Emma. I believe you're only friends with Emma in order to have some sort of stature amongst the elites in London society. I believe that. And I told you there was something off about Mark that I was like, it's giving scammer. I'm not saying that he is, but it's giving not so authentic. Like he's putting on a performance. So I feel like more information, the more you come on reality television, because let's be honest, people of real London society are not going to do reality television. They have too much to lose. This is part of the reason why I found it to be shocking that an aristocrat like Emma would do reality television. But I think she's doing it to bring attention to the zoo that is, I don't know, it's not a zoo. The what do they call that? They y'all know what I'm talking about, where she has her animals and stuff like that. It's not a reserve, it's something else. A sanctuary, something. Something. Foxy says he is funny. He's funny. He's great for reality television, but I feel like there's so much more going on there that we don't know. Was he disowned by his family? Because that's what Margot said. I believe it. I believe it. Exactly. RC says Mark is perfect, but he may be somewhat of an imposter. I think it's more of an imposter than you think. Stay tuned. Oh, thank you, Lene reviews like a conservancy. 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 There you go. Words are things. Way of Key says, I'm still confused on Mark Francis's gaudy home. Real tacky. It's tacky in a way, it's gaudy in a way, but it makes sense for that circle. Coco says, a farm? Well, it's not a farm. It's not a farm. Okay. Ooh, Foxy says, I like them all except for Kimmy. But I'm looking at these folks not as people that I would want to hang out with. Because even Kimmy, watching Kimmy in this last episode and that accent, and some of you said it's because she lives in London, she lived in Haiti, and she blah, 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 blah. It could be all of those reasons. I told you if I lived in London, I would have an accent. And she's lived in London for a long time. I think she's also great reality television. I think she's a mess. I like her friendship, the messy friendship between her and Martha. I like Martha, but I actually like Martha, not just for reality television. There's something very endearing and sweet about Martha. And she also makes great reality television too. And I like this week's episode of Ladies of London. You see them have a little bit of a back and forth. But this was probably one of the first times I saw Martha really, stick up for herself. Martha considers Margot one of her best friends, and she also considers Kimmy one of her best friends. But she's actually known Margot for a very long time. I like Margot for reality television. I don't know if I would want to be friends with Margot. There's something about Margot that rubs me the wrong way. But she's also not a punk, which I can appreciate. And I like the fact that although they're coming for her, she's able to handle herself. She's able to handle herself when it comes to Mark. She's able to handle herself when it comes to Kimmy, where Martha is not able to. So I feel like Martha, I think you should definitely maintain a friendship with Margot, because that's going to be your ride or die. That's going to be someone that has your back when everyone else is going to turn on you. But that's the thing with Martha. I think people sort of like bully Martha, including her own bird. They had the pet psychic in this week's episode of Ladies of London. That bird was really interesting though. Didn't you guys find that particular scene interesting? I was like, wait a second, what's happening here? And there is a pet, I don't know if she considers herself a pet psychic. There's this lady that keeps showing up on my TikTok, and she talks to cats and animals, both either alive or dead. And she's getting like profound life lessons from these animals and in her readings with them. So seeing this pet psychic particular scene, I was like, this is interesting to see Hecate communicate with the pet psychic, but it went so quick. I was like, wait, she doesn't have more to say. She's flying around the room, and she basically says she's the owner of Martha. But I'm not surprised by that, because Martha has been owned by a lot of people in her life. But I really do like Martha. She's probably like one of my favorites on the show. Exactly. You're right. Fumalayo says, real talk, Martha and Emma are the only ones who act like they came from or are a part of the aristocracy. Mark puts on airs. Kimmy is definitely from money, but not an aristocracy, in my opinion. I agree. There's something about, I don't know how to describe it. Honestly, I could watch a show with Kimmy and Martha, like, Grey Gardens of London, because that's what they give. That's what they give. Big Miss Muffin said, "A whatchamacallit, Kempire? A whatchamacallit." That's a better way to describe it. Coco says, Margot is the type, if you fall out with her, she will tell all your secrets. We literally see Margot do that in this week's episode. The minute Mark was talking about her, she's like, well, I heard that he's a bag holder for Emma. You know Emma, she's an aristocrat. She just a bag holder. He only aligns himself with her and because he wants a better place in society because his own family has disowned him. Have they disowned him because he's gay? Has he come out as gay? I know we are assuming that he is. Has he come out as gay? I don't know. I kind of believe her. But if you've been watching our recaps of Ladies of London, The New Reign, I've been telling you, I feel like there's something not 100% about Mark. But I love the way that he speaks. Because he doesn't speak like your typical Londoner. And I know Londoners, you're gonna be like, what? What do you mean? No, he kind of speaks like old, like old, like hundreds of years ago. Almost like what's that show? OMG, I'm gonna be so mad. I can't remember the name of the show, but it's like hundreds of years ago, and it was really popular here in the States. Oh my goodness, I can't think of the name. Not a bootleg Liberace. It's definitely giving that. His home definitely gives the Liberace. Lene Review says this show gives me modern day Gilded Age. Downton Abbey, thank you. Downton Abbey, not Bridgerton. Downton Abbey, thank you, Coco. You knew exactly what I was thinking. Downton Abbey, yes, E the Scientist. That he speaks like that of that time. I love how they used to speak like that. I don't understand why we don't speak like that today. That's the one thing I have to say. I love how he speaks. It's very poetic. And I don't know if there's a particular part of the UK that just speaks like that, or is it just him? Is it just him? Miss Barker said Game of Thrones. You go way back. Oh, you go way back. Even The Crown. You kind of get that. But it's like an older way of speaking. Nicole says his home is tacky. It looks like the White House. You mean like how the White House looks now? Just say. All right. What else happened in this week's episode? So we had Missy tell Margot about what Kimmy told her in regards to her feelings towards Margot. So they're still having their issue, Kimmy and Margot. I still believe Kimmy was talking mess about Missy's brother. She was being messy. I don't think Margot was trying to stir the pot. Some people might feel like she really was trying to stir the pot. I don't feel like she was trying to stir the pot. Literally, you're filming this. This is on camera. We see how you were talking about Missy's brother. Okay. Okay, I want to talk about... Okay, so Emma is preparing. She's going to Nairobi to run in a marathon. She talks about her health and how they misdiagnosed... I think it was a tumor that she has or something like that. Or, oh no, a cyst that she has. And they thought that it had enlarged, but then she got a second opinion and they were like, oh no, it didn't enlarge. That's kind of crazy because it was like scary for her. I really do like Emma. I do like Emma a lot. I am still wary of like, why would someone like Emma do reality television? Doesn't that, every time I see her on, I'm like, why is she doing reality television? But I'm thinking, is that to bring more attention to her? I'm just, for lack of a better word, her zoo, you know what I mean? And her charities. I still find that to be very interesting. So she's preparing to go. I like Micah too. I think Micah is one of the, like that Cynthia character in a way where she's not going to be incredibly messy. She seems like a really good friend. She comes, again, she's very polite. This is her business. She comes to Emma and she brings her all these little, gifts for her marathon trip. And then they did this video messages from the group to Emma, which I thought was really sweet. So I like that little scene between her and Micah. So we had another scene with Lottie. Lottie goes to get a sonogram because she's pregnant with Joshua's baby. her husband, Joshua, who is interesting. Like, they're a very stylish couple. Here's the thing where I was like, red flag, because right now he's preparing for this big fashion show, so he's very much involved. He's barely home. And Lottie says that she feels like she's alone a lot during this pregnancy. And she has concerns that this is going to continue when when she gives birth. And this is their first child together. So I'm like, that's a major red flag that you're, first of all, this pregnancy, this journey through pregnancy should be something shared between the two of you. You shouldn't feel alone during your pregnancy. So I'm thinking to myself, I was like, that's not cool. Not at all. And I get it. He's very much like, whose idea was it to have a child? Was this an accident? Mr. Melmagic says, Kemp, what you mean interesting? He's interesting. Okay. She's talked about it before. Nicole says it's more likely that to bring more attention to her zoo. I like Emma as well. She's down to earth and not snooty like the old British folks. Yeah, she seems very like cool. I do like Emma on the show. I do like her. But this situation with Lottie and Joshua, her husband, I'm a little concerned. And the fact that she's concerned that it's going to continue after the baby's there, that's a major red flag. But we shall see. We shall see. So Martha is hosting this My Fair Lady-esque picnic. And this is where things come to a head between Margot, Mark Francis, and Kimmy. It gets real heated between, first of all, Margot confronts Mark about it. And like he's just like laughing and cackling. And I love seeing Margot from a distance pay attention to Mark and his histrionics. And like, what does he have on? This is not even part of the theme. She's not even dressed as part of the theme either. And then they FaceTime Emma, and he's like, "Oh my God, it's my friend," and she's making fun of him. And we're watching, and it's like, I mean, he really is putting on airs a lot. Okay. Rahina says, "I agree, Kempire. He should be just as excited as Lottie is." Yeah, doesn't seem like it. It's like he's more excited about dressing the baby as opposed to being there for his wife. But okay. All right. So there's a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of friction at any group event, as you already know. So we see this back and forth between Margot and Mark Francis. I have to say, I get why people like him. And even in this moment, he doesn't seem like he's sweating at the fact that she's confronting him about accusations that you said you had a friend at your party that said these things about me, that I'm being fake and that I'm, not who I used to be, blah, 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 blah. Exactly. Monique said the Curious George of it all, what he had on, and then he showed a picture of Curious George with the safari guy. And I was like, it really was giving that. But Mark is he's great for reality television. I understand it completely why they put him on the show. But I definitely think that there's a bit of a scammer energy. I'm not saying that he's a scammer. There's just something not 100% authentic. But a lot of people don't care. They're just like, he's just funny. He's interesting. Even in this argument with him and Margot, it's the histrionics of it all. Okay. Then Margot has a separate conversation with Kimmy, and that goes left really quickly between the two of them. I don't get what's happening. I think they just don't like each other. And it then turns into a fight between Kimmy and Martha. But Martha really stepped up because I wasn't sure, because Martha usually gives people can bully her. But in this moment, she really stood up to Kimmy. And all of a sudden, Kimmy starts crying and they turn it into a joke, which I can appreciate. They've learned one of the biggest things to learn in reality television. You can't stay stuck in an argument because it's not great for the viewers. They move on really, really quickly. Way of Keith is calling Mark Francis an opportunist. I can see that. And honestly, when Margot said what she said about him, I was like, and there it is. I was like, and I knew it. I was just like, and there it is. Someone is actually confirming what I've been feeling about Mark Francis. Flip Virgo says, not Mark the scammer. It's kind of giving that. It's kind of giving that. And now I kind of want to know, did his family disown him? And why did they disown him? Exactly. RC says, it was definitely hard to unsee Curious George's handler from Mark's look that he was giving at this party. Guys, if you're just joining us, we're talking about the latest episode of Ladies of London. We've recapped and talked about it the last couple of Fridays. So be sure to check it out if you miss any of our conversations, because some of you will hit me up and say, Kempire, have you talked about Ladies of London? If I don't do like a separate live video with the thumbnail, you guys will know. Even then, sometimes you guys, I'm like, have you done a recap? We do. I just can't possibly recap every single show on Bravo. I'm sure Bravo would love me to, but I'm not. Okay? They're lucky that I'm even including it in a Friday live. Okay? But I thought it was a decent episode. I think it's a solid show. I enjoyed the original Ladies of London as well. I love London. Right, London? I did an amazing show in London. We had a great time in London. So, London fans, let me know. Are you guys even watching this in London? Can y'all let me know? I know it's available in London. So are you watching it? Like, how are you feeling? That's what I really want to know. Londoners, weigh in. UKers, weigh in. I want to know. How are you feeling about Ladies of London? All right, moving on from there. Shout out to our friends over at Bask Lather for sponsoring today's live show. I am always so excited when I can collaborate with a brand, first of all, that's Black owned, but also something that I know you all can benefit from and will love. That's why today's live is brought to you by our friends over at Bask Lather. So let me tell you a little bit about Bask Lather and how it even all began. As I mentioned to you before, it's a Black-owned business. When a dermatologist misdiagnosed CEO Shayna's younger sister and said her hair may never grow back, the family took things into their own hands, very much like Black people always do. Today, her hair is down to her hips. Shayna and her mother researched and formulated their own scalp and hair oil to stimulate growth and retain length. And I know what you're probably thinking. Kempire, what do you know about hair? Well, I said I'm going to find a product from this company that I can use. So for those of you, shout out to the guys that follow the channel, or maybe your husbands that are just listening earshot, they have beard remedies as well. So I've been using their beard shampoo, their beard conditioner, their beard oil, their beard magic, which is going to help fill in spots. I've been using it for 3 weeks. So if you see a transformation when it comes to my beard, you know it was at the hands of Bask Lather. So there are things there for men as well. But more importantly, I know that we have a large audience of women that follow the channel. So I love when we can bring a product that's going to benefit you. Let me tell you a little bit more about Bask Lather and some of the things that they have on their website. If you're looking for something when it comes to your hair, nourish and hydrate from the inside out with 100% natural ingredients. They have a nourishing hair balm for curly or kinky hair that helps reduce hair breakage and adds shine. When used regularly, users have seen results in about 3 months. Made with ingredients that can penetrate hair strands without clogging pores. Non-greasy formulation with no petroleum or lanolin. They also have hydrating hair mist. Keep any hair type soft and shiny and hydrated. Combines aloe vera and avocado oil to reduce frizz, treat dryness, detangle, and redefine curls. And I took a look at their before and afters, and you would be amazed. From people that have alopecia to dryness of hair to length. The length, I was like, well, maybe I do need to try it. They also have before and after when it comes to thinning hair and shedding of your hair. As I said before, there are multiple before and afters for men as well. These products are for both men and women. I never bring you something here where you can't benefit or get a discount. Explore viral bestsellers and products of healthier hair of all types from Bask Lather. Go to baskandlatherco.com and use code Kempire for 20% off. That's 20% off at baskandlatherco.com, code Kempire. More details on Bask Lather will be available in the description. Thanks to Bask Lather for sponsoring today's live. And we're back. Shout out to Bask Lather. More information on Bask Lather will be available in the description. I did check the P.O. box. So thank you, Vanessa Vivi Vidal, for the spring, happy spring Look, happy spring. Oh, there we go. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Thank you so much, Jamaica. No problem. Thank you so much for the postcard. We appreciate you. Says happy spring, Kempire. We love you. Thank you. And I want to say shout out to this was so cute. This I don't know if you sent this around the holidays. Have I not checked the PO box in that long? Lord have mercy. I thought I was doing better. Look, we have a new PO box, y'all. More information on the PO box will be available. I did get the packages too, y'all. Some of you sent me some packages. I have not opened them yet. Maybe tonight I'll go live on Instagram or maybe TikTok. Make sure you follow me in both places, The Kempire. Karima, thank you so much for this beautiful letter. And shout out to our, oh my goodness, I can't think of your name, but I read your letter finally. You're from Toronto. Toronto? Canada. You came to my live show in New York City and you told me your story in your letter. I finally got a chance to read your letter. Beautiful letter. Thank you guys so much. I love these letters. Come on now. I'm not going to read the letter to you guys, but thank you so much, Karima, for this. You said that your son made this particular Christmas card for me. And what did he say in here? He says, "Hi, Kempire. I am, hold on. I don't know if I can, it says Merry Christmas. I see that. And it says ho, ho, ho. And I don't know what else he said here, but he said, if you receive this card, it means that you count amongst the most favorite, my favorite persons of this year. Season's greetings and best wishes, George." So happy holidays. Apologies for the late. Hold on, I gotta block out. Look. So thank you so much for my Christmas card. I appreciate it. And I will let you guys know my reaction to the other things that you guys have sent. Am I having bun and cheese this weekend? No. Look, no. Just because something like that will go, like, if I can get like a slice with some cheese, then perfect. But I don't want to get like a full bun because then it's going to go to waste. So, but now that you mention it, that sounds yummy. Way of Keith said, "Remember that the Bravo reality show in Paris feels like a fever dream. It was such a bad show." I think Ladies of London will definitely be picked up. I definitely think they'll be picked up. Lene Views says, "Mark Francis Vandali's parents did not permanently disown him, but they strongly disapproved of his decision to join Made in Chelsea. They threatened to disown him, leading him to a temporary rift where they did not speak for 6 to 8 months. So I wonder how they feel about him doing reality television again. Because again, I think if you come from money, a lot of the families are not going to want you to do reality television. They'll be like, "I'll pay you. Like, why do you want to do reality television?" Mark Francis likes attention. He wants to be famous. You could tell. You could tell. And now he's on an American reality show. Now more people are going to know who he is. Don't bring him to BravoCon. It's going to be a wrap. It's going to be a rock because that's going to go to his head. Just Jules, thank you so much for being a member for 41 months. Thank you. 41 months. That's a long time. Just Jules says, "Hi to the best podcast of all things and sometimes sports. Wishing all a great weekend on my next flight and hopefully can watch later. Mods rock too." Thank you so much, Just Jules. Safe travels. So thank you so much for being a member for so long. Maddie, thank you so much for the super chat. Maddie says, "Have you checked Kimmy's last name? Murdoch. Wonder if she's related to the ruiner of free press. Mark paints nice flowers." I wonder if there's any relation. I wonder. Who knows? Can we Google? I feel like that would have been mentioned if she was part of like the iconic family, Murdochs. Agata, thank you so much for being a member for the super chat. Let me shimmy because I know this is 20 pounds. Look, it's 20 pounds. My first live since months. Yeah. And we will talk Blake topic. Yes, we were going to talk about that in just a moment. Matter of fact, we can talk about that now before I get back to some more reality television. So thank you for the segue. Let's talk about Blake Lively. So, as you know, Blake Lively has this lawsuit against her co-star, Justin Baldoni. And there was a major legal development yesterday. This is why I had to add it to today, because we don't talk about Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni and their lawsuit actively here on the channel. We just give you the major updates, and this is a major update in regards to this lawsuit. I also saw Page Six talking about whether or not this major legal update is going to affect Blake Lively's career. I think just the backlash that she has received since all of this has been playing out has already hurt her career. So, according to Variety, it said a judge has thrown out Blake Lively's sexual harassment claims against Justin Baldoni, gutting her headline grabbing lawsuit that followed the release of the domestic violence film It Ends With Us. In a ruling issued Thursday, hold on, y'all. I don't know why they do this. All these ads, I get it. They got to pay bills. In a ruling issued Thursday, Judge Lewis Lyman threw out 10 of the 13 claims. 10 of the 13 claims in Lively's lawsuit, including claims of harassment, defamation, and conspiracy. He allowed 3 claims to proceed to a trial, including claims of breach of contract, retaliation, and aiding and abetting in retaliation. Because I can see why they would keep that in there, because there are some signs of that in regards to her claims. But the major claims of sexual harassment and defamation and conspiracy have been thrown out. Wow. That's huge. Because that was the largest part of her lawsuit. Lively, the female lead, accused Baldoni, the director and co-star, of sexually harassing her on set by making unwelcome comments about her appearance and weight. Lyman ruled that Lively could not bring a sexual harassment claim under federal law because she was an independent contractor. He also ruled that she could not file a harassment claim under California law because the filming took place in New Jersey. So this is why law is so interesting. Some people will paint this as, oh, because the judge is saying that there were no grounds for sexual harassment. Well, no, that's not what the law is saying. Let me just repeat this so that people understand this clearly, why these have been removed. The judge ruled that Lively could not bring a sexual harassment claim under federal law because she was an independent contractor. He also ruled that she could not file a harassment claim under California law because the filming took place in New Jersey. She also alleged that Baldoni hired an army of publicists to retaliate against her by seeding and amplifying negative stories online. The judge ruled that 2 retaliation claims deserved to go to a jury. We're very pleased that the court dismissed all sexual harassment claims and every claim brought against the individual defendants, said attorneys Alexandra Shapiro and Jonathan Bach, who represents Baldoni Wayfarer Studios and their publicists. These were very serious allegations, and we are grateful to the court for its careful review of the facts, law, and voluminous evidence that was provided. What's left is significantly narrowed case, and we look forward to presenting our defense to the remaining claims in court. So, Sigrid McCauley, a member of Lively's legal team, noted that the jury will get the final word on whether Lively was the victim of a retaliatory smear campaign. This case, in a quote, this case has always been and will remain focused on the devastating retaliation and extraordinary steps the defendants took to destroy Blake Lively's reputation because she stood up for safety on the set, and that is the case that is going to trial, McCauley said. For Blake Lively, the greatest measure of justice is that people in the playbook behind these coordinated digital attacks have been exposed and are already being held accountable by other women they've targeted. She looks forward to testifying at trial and continuing to shine a light on this vicious form of online retaliation so that it becomes easier to detect and fight. Baldoni and his lawyers argued that Lively used exaggerated charges of misconduct to seize control of the film and then to cast Baldoni as a villain. Baldoni's team argued that Lively's allegations about on-set behavior amounted to nothing more than, quote, minor grievances, and that he had a right to defend himself from what he saw as false allegations. It Ends With Us grossed $350 million worldwide, marking it a remarkable hit in 2024. But the film's release was overshadowed by persistent rumors of a rift between the 2 leads, which has led to more than a year of messy litigation. It's all a effing disaster, wrote Tom Rothman, a film chair at Sony Pictures Entertainment, in an August 2024 email summing up the situation. None of the who is right or wrong matters at all. The mess is the story now and will define the film. No one can watch the film in the same way. Tragic. A trial is due to take place in May. Oh my gosh! That's next month. Too bad. I'll be celebrating my birthday, so we won't be talking about them. No, we will be talking about them. Why? It was just almost a year ago since we were covering the Diddy trial, y'all. OMG. Sidebar. Speaking of Diddy, you know they just took some more days off of his sentence. I told you. Don't be surprised if they're going to be talking about he's coming out at the end of the year or early next year. So they said that a trial is due to take place in May. Baldoni and Lively attended a mediation session with a magistrate judge in February, but that did not result in a settlement. The fight has involved several high-profile names, most notably Taylor Swift. Who have we seen Taylor Swift and Blake Lively hang out anytime recently? That's interesting. Whose lawyers, Taylor Swift's lawyers, have sought to keep her out of it. In a text to Lively in the fall of 2024, Swift referred disparagingly to Baldoni, saying, I think this B knows something is coming because he's gotten out his tiny violin. Not the tiny violin. I keep telling y'all that Taylor Swift is not as innocent as she pretends to be. Look. Not that tiny violin. This one doesn't work. I got to change the battery again. Lord have mercy. Not the tiny violin. Lively also messaged Swift that Baldoni was a clown and a doofus director. Angel says, nope, Taylor's done with Blake. I mean, wouldn't you be done with someone that's gotten you mixed up in bad press? And you know Taylor Swift doesn't like any bad press. So... could be that. Sidebar, speaking of Taylor Swift, I saw Taylor Swift was at the iHeart Music Awards with her fiance, who recently came out and said that basically that, you know, people asking about the wedding and stuff like that. He's like, you're not going to find out anything about the wedding, blah, 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 blah. No one cares about that wedding. Maybe the Swifties do. But let me tell you, the general public do not care about you and your contractual relationship. Anyway. Taylor Swift was at the award show. You know, anytime Taylor Swift's at an award show, she's dancing around and da-da-da. So when Ray was out there singing her song, that song about finding a husband, and Taylor Swift is singing, and then she's singing in Travis Kelce's face, singing the chorus, and she's like, like that. And then and I'm like, I know he probably finds her incredibly annoying. Because I'm watching it, and I'm like, you look annoying. But anyway. Exactly. Lene View says, we want the Zendaya. We call her Zendaya over here. We want the Zendaya wedding news. Oh, I've seen, you know, she's on the promo for her new movie, The Drama, which I might go and see. You know what movie I am going to see? Sidebar. It comes out this weekend, right? You, Me, and Tuscany with Halle Bailey and that guy from Bridgerton. Sorry. But the reason why I think we all should go out and see it was because another director, a black female director, was talking about the likelihood of her movie, her rom-com, actually getting greenlit at a studio is going to be dependent on a movie she has nothing to do with, and that's You, Me, and Tuscany. So we need to show up and show out, even though I was already going to show up and show out. Just saying. So that comes out this weekend, right? You, Me, and Tuscany. I'm going to go. Who wants to go? Who wants to be my date? Not you, Roger. I'm going to go. I think it's a great date movie. Who wants to be my date? All right. Okay, yeah. Chris says, hold on, Chris. What was your comment? Chris says, yes, that's we want, and I will watch The Drama, and I am not a Swiftie. I want to see the Swiftie. I mean, not the Swiftie. I want to see The Drama. I don't know. Now I'm a little intrigued in regards to that movie. I have no idea what that movie's about, but I've seen Zendaya on the promo trail for the movie this week. All right. Yeah, the nuptials already happened. Law Roach already came out and said that Zendaya and that guy, what's his name? Tom Holland, already got married. But we are waiting to see the pictures from that wedding. All right. Rahina says, I'll be your plus one. Rahina, let's go, girl. Oh, I did see that. CM says Zendaya was, I know it's not Zendaya. And there'll be someone coming in. Her name is not Zendaya. We call her, it's a running joke. Okay, calm down. Zendaya was on Jennifer Hudson's show talking about Olandria from Love Island. Everybody watches Love Island but me. And don't ask me to get into it this summer. I'm not. It's too much. It's every single damn day. If I didn't cover the Housewives, then I could cover that. But I'm also just not interested in that, to be honest. It's very clear that these young people are going, not these young people. It's very clear that these young people are going on there to be famous. They're not on there to find love. Okay? But fine. You like what you like. I like what I like. All right? Right. All right, so that's the update on Blake Lively. That's a major loss for her. However, doesn't mean that they won't be able to prove their point in court when it comes to the current charges. Those 3 charges will be going to trial in May. We will give you an update on the trial in May. Okay? CM says, nope, avoid it, Kempire, avoid it. See? I have to, look, I told you guys I do not leave my corporate job to do work that I don't want to do. I know some of you want to hear my opinion, and honestly, I am humbled that you guys want to hear little old me's opinion about this dating show. There aren't a lot of dating shows that I like or recap either. Love is Blind, I don't mind. I didn't recap this last season. I might get into it though, just to watch it, now that the hype around it's over. Oh yeah, Ray can sing her face off. And congratulations to Ray, who has the #1 album in the UK right now. Her new album just came out. This music may contain hope. I'm mad I remember that, but I can't remember the guy from Bridgerton's name. Deborah said, loser, in my favorite voice. Loser. All right, let's move on because we have so much more to talk about and so little time. So little time. Let me get into Real Housewives of... Wait, do I want to go on? Before we get to Real Housewives, let me talk about another Real Housewife, a woman that will not be returning to Real Housewives, and that is Jen Shah. So Jen Shah she did an interview with People Magazine. And I watched the interview. It was like a 40-something minute interview. Or almost 40-minute interview. Oh, thank you, Ms. Parker. She said, how do you pronounce this? What? How do you Jean Page? Roger Jean Page? Him. Yeah, he's in You, Me, and Tuscany. Beautiful man. Beautiful man. Anyway, so Jen Shah did this interview. And I really came into the interview. I know some of you probably don't believe me. I came into the interview and I was like, okay, I'm going to keep an open mind. Beautiful photos though, right? Are these beautiful photos? I came into the interview. I said, I'm going to keep an open mind. Maybe she really learned something from being in jail. I will tell you this. My spidey sense is telling me that this woman is a narcissist. And I know that word gets thrown around a lot. But when I tell you who's a narcissist, that's who you should believe. Okay? I'm definitely getting narcissist vibes. I'm getting, oh no, she's going to do it again. She's going to do it again. Because now she's trying to claim that she went to jail because of other people. She said that, yes, years ago she used to work in the whole telemarketing, business. But she was collecting a W-2 from someone else. And then she was blaming her co-defendant. Wasn't her assistant her co-defendant? And didn't he get less charges and less time than she did? Did I make that up? I didn't. He was out before she was. So I will say this. I would watch the interview and I'm like, she's not taking any ownership, no accountability. And I was like, oh my goodness, I feel like this woman is actually dangerous. She took no accountability. And shout out to the Bravo docket because the Bravo docket said they started watching this and they were like, hold on, wait a minute. And I appreciate them so much because I'm like, am I going crazy? Because almost for a second there, I'm believing her. I'm like, because I couldn't remember all the details of the case. And I'm almost sitting there, I'm like, this woman's a scammer because I'm falling for it in the moment. Like, wait, so maybe she was the fall guy? Was she the fall guy? Was she the fall guy?
Time frame that
Hold on.
was noted in the indictment. In 2012, I wasn't running any companies in 2012 for quite a long time until, recently before the indictment. I was working for different corporations, right? I was worked in marketing. And so that was a little bit confusing for me when that happened because I didn't understand why I wasn't running anything at that point. I was literally an employee at.
So she's claiming that she was just an employee. She was just an employee.
A company, but I worked in the industry. I worked in the industry in total. So I think, how does one get there, or how does that come about? I think it's just a matter of who I worked with, the companies I worked with, and doing, direct response marketing. And
All right. So shout out to our friends over the Bravo doc, because you know what we do here. We cite our sources. So that the voice that you heard, that was Jen Shah in the People interview. So they said this, and they actually cite the indictment, the statutory allegations against Jen Shah for when she was indicted. She says, while the indictment included a 2012 to 2021 time period, it did not state that she was in charge. Rather, it made clear that she was being prosecuted for her involvement. Moreover, later in the case, the government specified her shifting progressively worse roles throughout the time period, meaning the government never claimed that she was orchestrating everything for the entire period. Rather, she was being convicted for her role, whether that was a lead generator or leader of sales or a leader of a sales floor. They continue. She said, that being said, Jen was eventually a key participant and eventually a leader. From 2012 to 2016, Jen worked with Thrive and Guidance, the back-end service providers, and her role was selling leads to sales floors, feeding victims into the system that ultimately routed them back to those companies. Remember the names Thrive and Guidance, they continue. And again, you can see all of what I'm citing right now on the Bravo Docket's Instagram, and you can read the actual court docs. So they continue. They said in 2015, Jen Shah was already testifying in FTC proceedings against sales floors she had sold leads to. By 2016, the FTC was investigating Thrive and Guidance instead of ceasing her participation in the deception telemarketing scheme. She continued and tried to find ways to hide communications. I almost forgot about these details, but this is why we rely on our friends over at the Bravo docket. Because you remember, we covered and we talked about this during this time. They continue. It says, by 2017, after Thrive and Guidance were sued by the FTC, instead of stepping away, Jen's role actually expanded. While she had previously focused on lead generation and distribution, she moved into running her own sales floor, meaning she went from supplying leads to sales floors to operating her own. These were the ones making the calls. These were the ones making calls to victims, making sales, and deciding how else to make money from the victim. They continue. They said in March of 2017, arrests were made in a parallel scheme. So now, not only had Jen been aware and involved in FTC actions, but she was also aware of arrests, and yet she continued. Let me read that to you again, because for those that may have missed Jen Shah's interview with People Magazine, she's trying to make it seem like she was the fall guy. In March of 2017, arrests were made in a parallel scheme. So now not only had Jen been aware and involved in FTC actions, but she was also aware of arrests, and yet she continued. And then she made it seem as if she went, that the reason why she pled guilty, what did she say? The reason why she pled guilty? She came up with this response, which is so weird to me. You went to jail. You served your time. You're now on house arrest. She's been on house arrest for the last 90 days. You do not have to make up these lies, which is what stood out to me. The fact that she would continue to lie even after you serve your time. They can't charge you again. You already admitted guilt. You took a plea deal. So I don't understand why she's still running with the narrative that like she was some victim. But that told me everything that we need to know. That's why I feel like she's going to do it again. And it may not be this particular type of scheme. When I say she's going to do it again, it says to me that she's not going to be a law-abiding person. Like she's going any way that she can scheme or scam someone, she's going to do it again. That's how I felt. Because if after you served your time, you still can't take ownership. She's talking about time with her friend Lizzie. She's like, oh, I stayed away from Jaslane. She said, Jaslane Maxwell, who was moved to the prison where she was. She was like, she would see the victims on television and she had no remorse. She's like, so I try to keep my distance from her. Girl, you're not much better. Just because yours didn't necessarily involve children doesn't mean that you didn't have victims. So the Bravo docket continues in their coverage of this interview. She says, so this is all to say that Jen now saying I was just an employee ignores that even as an employee, she was doing something illegal. It also ignores that she didn't remain an employee. She moved up. And at each stage, she had more visibility and more control over how this operation functioned. So that's important. So she's literally lying in this interview. Let me reiterate what the Bravo docket reports. They said, so this is all to say that Jen now saying that I was just an employee ignores that even as an employee, she was doing something illegal. It also ignores that she didn't remain an employee. She moved up, and at each stage, she had more visibility and more control over how this operation functioned. And then she was trying to blame it on her co-defendant. Her co-defendant, wasn't that her assistant? What was his name? The one that funny looking one. He looked like he would commit a crime, but anyway. They continue. They said, and her framing it as saying that she got there because it was just who I worked with suggests that this was incidental. But her trajectory shows the opposite. She didn't just happen to fall into a leadership role. Rather, she sought it out. They continue. They said there's so much more, and they will discuss it on their this week's re-release episode, which you can go listen to right now on the Bravo Dockets podcast. Shout out to them. OMG. I'm so glad that they did that because I was like, because I almost fell for it. Anyone else? Stu Chains. Thank you. I couldn't remember his name. Stu Chains. Yes, Stu Chains. I could not remember his name. Not Stuart Little. Lord have mercy. Stu Chains. Oh, Lord. Anyway. So that's the update on Jen Shah. That's the update on Jen Shah. All right, since we're talking about Real Housewives, let's talk about Real Housewives of Rhode Island. Oh, I didn't even bring up a graphic for Real Housewives of Rhode Island. Hold on, y'all. Let me bring up a graphic for Real Housewives of Rhode Island. I didn't even prepare. I was like, oh my Lord, where's our graphic for Real Housewives of Rhode Island? What did you guys think of it? Did you enjoy it? Was it good? How would you rate it from 1 to 10? I thought it was a very good premiere episode. But for the people that are automatically that they want more, they're taking it. I'm like, y'all need to calm down. Y'all saw one episode. This is why you can't listen to the internet. They're like, oh, they got it. And I'm like, no. Let me see more. I think it was a solid premiere episode. I think they did a good job in introducing us and individualizing the women. Rula was not a part of the first episode, but she's coming, and apparently her husband's cheating. And if you don't want, Rula might be the only one that stands out. Well, not really, because she really all kind of look like each other. But I feel like I kind of know who everyone is. Honestly, I could tell you everyone's name in this picture. I'm gonna tell you everyone's name. Let's start from the left. That's Joe Ellen. Next to Joe Ellen, that's sitting. That is Ashley, because I kind of mix up Ashley and Kelsey a little bit. But next to Ashley, who was on The Bachelor, we talked about that already. Okay. Okay, Savannah says, I'm from Rhode Island, so I'm here for it. I know, I love that. And Savannah, if you know anything, let us know. All right. Next to Ashley is Alicia. Next to Alicia in the middle is Kelsey, who is a sugar baby. She may not claim to be a sugar baby, but she's living a good life. And she's been living a good life for the last 10 years. The last 10 years she's been living, and she knows, look, she knows that she is one of many girlfriends, boyfriends. I don't know. Someone put that in my comment. I was like, you're right. Because at one particular point, she never referred to the other person that he has in Miami as a girlfriend. So I was like, wait a minute. What in the Alexia is going on? But she's beautiful. But she's living up in this beautiful home in Rhode Island. She says that he comes from one of the prominent families in Rhode Island. So we're going to, at this particular point, we don't know who this man is. They show pictures of him, but they take out his face. So I already know the Bravo Universe investigators are going to know who this man is. There's no way that they're going to be able to keep that as a secret for too long. And apparently on Watch What Happens Live, she said he's a big Real Housewives fan. I bet he is. And I bet he's allowing you to work now and establish yourself so that he can stop taking care of you and replace you with the next one, because now you probably reached an age that he's not interested in. He's quite older than she is. She started dating him when she was 19. Okay. Danielle says she owns her sugar baby status. No, she doesn't. She reveals it to us, but then she seems so in her feelings when my Taurus sister, Rosie, was talking about it. Because my thing is like, why are you acting all like, oh my gosh, they're talking about my relationship? Girl, I was like, what in the big papa is going on from the very beginning? If you own it, then why does it matter that anyone's talking about it? I was like, calm down, girl. Anyway, I can't believe I know their names already, y'all. So next to Kelsey, who's in the middle, we have, she's Syrian, is Rula, who we have not been introduced to. Next to Rula, who's standing, that's my Taurus sister, Rosie. She's also a newscaster, and she has a show that she hosts on one of their the Rhode Island networks on the weekends, like a lifestyle show. It's not on YouTube, even though they, I guess, post the YouTube videos that Joe Ellen shaded. So Joe Ellen reminds me of Teresa Giudice. So as soon as I say Teresa Giudice, you can already tell. She looks like Teresa. Okay? She's a good reality TV star, Joe Ellen. I'm going to give it to her. She's a good reality TV star. She's a villain. She's leaning into it. So in front of Rosie on the right, sitting down, she's the only other one sitting down, is Dolores. I mean, not Dolores. It's not Dolores. That is Liz, who is Dolores' friend. Dolores was featured in this episode. Did you even notice?
Lies!
I'm going to wait and see what was the point. Because here's the thing. It's not like Dolores is just a guest of the show. She's considered a friend of the show. And maybe she brings it during the rest of the season. But for her introduction to be in the premiere episode and that's all we got, I was like, oh, Lord. But you know what, Dolores? I'm not going to be mad at you. If you can if they're going to give you a check to show up and just be Dolores, go ahead. She's a kind woman. Take that check. Look, she's a kind woman. I mean, that's people have said Dolores is boring. They've never said that she's a bad person. So you're not a bad person. Get that check, Dolores. Get that check. Savannah says she looked good though. She did. Yes. All right. Back to our girls. Oh, look, like our girls. If you had to rate from 1 to 10 the episode, the premiere episode of Real Housewives of Rhode Island, how would you rate it? I thought it was a solid. I'm gonna give it an 8. I think it was strong. Honestly, I might give it an 8.5. It was a strong first episode. So I took some notes. I'm not going to go scene by scene. I'm just because I like how they split this up in regards to just introducing us to who these women are. So Alicia is the one next to Ashley sitting down. She's almost in the middle. She's on the left side of the photo. She almost actually gives me Teresa vibes in regards to her being a little bit less than smart. She's a little like all over the place. It's very Jersey. The Rhode Island ladies, and we've been saying this, is giving very much Jersey. And I think this will be sort of like the Jersey energy. I don't ever see Rhode Island and Jersey being on at the same time. I think they're going to be sort of like when Jersey's on, Rhode Island will be off. When Rhode Island's on, New Jersey will be off. Very much like what they're doing now. Sidebar. I saw that Andy Cohen was talking about the Real Housewives of Miami, and he basically confirmed what I already told you guys. He was like, "It's not my decision. If it was up to me, all the shows would be on at the same time." Who told y'all that? Told y'all. Y'all don't listen to me though. But okay. Back to this. So Alicia reminds me a little bit of Teresa because she's a little bit all over the place. A very Italian family. The family comes over. It's very like I'm ready for my accents to come out because it reminds me very much of Jersey. Okay, so it's a big deal because she's been engaged for like 9 years to her Billy, and Billy owns all these multiple restaurants. One thing I will say that the fans are going to love is that some of these ladies are living a very big life in regards to big homes, big this, big that, like money. Okay. So there's some of them that are living that life, like Kelsey, who's being taken care of. She's living in a big mansion, and a lot of times she's there by herself, like the first 6 months of the year. She might have some boyfriends too. That wouldn't shock me. Maybe he's okay with her having boyfriends, but okay. So Alicia apparently moved to Providence, and her family hates that, even though it's only 15 minutes away. But that's a thing in look, that's a thing in Rhode Island. I like her though. I like Alicia because she might be a little less than smart. She might be a little kooky, but I think that's great. A bunch of them are a little kooky. All right, so Coco says somebody is scamming. That did cross my mind. I hope they're not. But you know how reality television is. All right, we've already seen some of their voting donations, their political donations from some of them, like Alicia. I think Alicia, they said, donated to Trump's campaign too. Just telling you. I'm not telling anything else. All right. Savannah says, "I'm from Providence." So is that a thing, Savannah, in regards to, Providence is what, 15 minutes from what is it, Cranston or something like that? Yeah, so Cranston. All right. So we get introduced to Alicia's family. One thing that I like about Rhode Island so far, this cast, is the fact that there does seem to be some deep connections with the women. And could they be playing that up? Because just because you've known someone from high school doesn't mean that you were friends with them. They probably are, but so many people have said one of the things that Real Housewives is missing are true friend circles, true connections. So there was an emphasis in the premiere episode of showing the true connections. Okay? GC says all these women are Trumpers. Well, no. I think it was Rosie has donated to multiple. I think it was Rosie. They said has donated to multiple like Democratic candidates and things like that. So not necessarily all of them, but anyway. So back to Real Housewives of Rhode Island. I felt like it was a solid premiere episode. I like how we were able to get to know everyone individually. Let's continue in regards to that. Liz, who refers to herself as the queen of weed because she has a cannabis business with her husband. And they actually, I don't know if their house is bigger than Kelsey's, but they have a big home. Liz is a personality. Like the way she talks is a very specific way. The way she carries herself. She's going to meet Kelsey at the local restaurant, and she's in her buoy. She's driving the buoy, and she's like, "I'm gonna meet you over there." You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, I kind of like her. So they own this cannabis business. It's one of the first ones on the East Coast. All right. Her energy, her personality is going to be a standout. It's definitely going to be a standout. She already does not like the public attention that she's getting. She mentioned that on Watch What Happens Live. Speaking of Kelsey, this is where we learn a little bit more about Kelsey, how she met her boyfriend, blah, blah, blah. We already talked a little bit about this. I'm not going to regurgitate any of that. But Kelsey did say this. She's been with her boyfriend, for 10 years, since she was 19 years old. He has multiple people that he's dating. He has someone that he's dating in Miami, but she's fully aware of that. He's from a prominent family in Rhode Island. We don't know which family that is because we don't know who he is. But she says now she wants to be in a committed relationship with one person. But is she going to be willing to give up the lifestyle that she's been doing this lifestyle for 10 years, y'all. But I also understand she probably wants to have a kid. She probably wants one man for herself. I don't know. Can she find that? And also find the lifestyle? Maybe. She also was Miss Rhode Island. She gives him credit for pushing her to be Miss Rhode Island. It looks like he's trying to push you to work. Maybe. Joe Ellen, who I think is going to be the star of Real Housewives of Rhode Island. We're introduced to her based on what we're seeing for the previews. She has a complicated relationship with her mother. In regards to how she was raised. Her and Gary, her husband, remind me of Joe and Teresa. In every way possible. Not just looks, not just with sound, not just their relationship. I just see potentially issues. And apparently the word on the street is that they're swingers. I don't know. And then maybe wonder when, who brought this up? Was it Alicia? Someone brought it up that Joe Ellen, when she worked at the tanning salon, that she was hooking up with the owner, and then she was hooking up with the owner and the owner's wife. Excuse me? All right. But Joe Ellen works. So Joe Ellen's not just living at home. She works in like aesthetic sales, and she shows people how to use those different devices that are sold to the places you do Botox and this and the fillers and stuff like that. But here's what got me. So Joe Ellen's sister Jen apparently dated Gary. Okay. And it looks as if, I know Brooke is going to have a field day with Joe Ellen in this story. Because Joe Ellen says she chased Gary and then finally got him. But they've been together for a long time at this particular point. They have, 3 kids together? But damn, she says she admitted that she chased that man. Savannah says Joe Ellen's a mess. Look. All right, before we move on with the rest of our Real Housewives of Rhode Island recap, I want to say shout out to our friends over at Factor for sponsoring today's live. Okay, I get it. It's not a new year, but it can still be a new you. As you know, we've partnered with Factor many, many times, and this is no different. But let me paint a picture for you. Hunger strikes, and you're exhausted. I know it. Especially on a busy day. There's something healthy in your fridge or pantry that you should be making, but you don't have it in you. Relatable, right? For me, eating healthy isn't a willpower problem. It's a setup problem until I found Factor. As you know, I have a busy schedule. Sometimes there's breaking news and I do not have the time in me to cook that meal or prepare for that meal. With Factor, I'm hitting my nutrition goals this season without the planning, grocery shopping, or cooking. What I also love about Factor is that you're getting great quality meals, dietitian approved meals. Factor has meals built around your goals, whether that's weight loss, overall nutrition, more protein, or GLP-1 support. For strength and workout recovery, check out Factor's Muscle Pro collection. As I've mentioned many times before, Factor meals are crafted with functional ingredients from lean proteins, colorful veggie, whole foods, and healthy fats. Factor bans 175 plus ingredients, no artificial colors, no sweeteners, no high fructose corn syrup, and no refined seed oils. And most importantly, convenience. Ready in 2 minutes, Factor shops, preps, cooks, and delivers straight to your door, so you have more time for everything you love this spring. Head to factormeals.com/Kempire50 off and use code Kempire50 off to get 50% off and free daily greens per box with new subscription only, while supplies last until September 27th, 2026. See website for more details. More details on Factor and your discounts will be available in the description. Thanks, Factor. And we're back. So thank you to those of you that have already liked the video. We're almost at 500 likes. Be sure to keep liking the video. The Nadia Imani, thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate your support. Nadia says, I finally caught a live. Happy spring. Happy spring to you as well, Nadia. Thank you so much for the super chats. Hold on. Kendra, thank you so much for being a member for the super chat. Kendra says, Kempire, not you having me excited that you had a violin and trumpet. Don't worry, chat. Both are coming. I felt like we needed them to tell the news properly. Happy Easter, everyone. Happy Easter to you as well. All right, hold on. OMG Steph, thank you so much for the super chat. OMG says, Reddit revealed who he is, John Caprio, allegedly. And I said, hold on, let me see if I can... Hold on. Wait. Let me see. Hold on. Oh, that... Honestly, yeah, we found the pictures of them together. Oh, wait, did he date Paula Abdul, John Caprio? Did they date John Caprio and Paula Abdul? That would be more age appropriate. Oh, hold on. That I told you that this information would not be secret for too long. There is a picture of John Caprio and what's her name? Kelsey together. Let me show you. I'm gonna show you, and this is all allegedly. Thank you so much, OMG Steph. I told you we would find out. I told you this was not gonna last long. So apparently this is him. He's not a bad looking older man. But I guess she's okay with living that lifestyle. I mean, I'd be okay. Look, no, would I be okay? No, I'm not sharing. You hear that, billionaire? I'm not sharing you. Wow. So what in the... Oh, wait a minute. The update now, I can see they show us the actual images now. I love it. Thank you, Tanya. Oh, well, hold on. Wait a minute, Tanya. Let me shimmy for the $50. Shimmy. Come on. Wow. Thank you so much, Tanya. I love that we can see the images now. I knew it would eventually would happen. Wow, though. So apparently this is the man, y'all. This is the man that Kelsey is. That's her sugar daddy. I mean, I was actually expecting him to look a little bit more crotchety looking. But apparently he used to date. Look, did he date Paula Abdul? I think he used to date Paula Abdul, but when did he date Paula Abdul? Wow. Let me show y'all the picture of him and Paula Abdul. Please and hold. Not us digging in. So, did he date Paula Abdul at one particular point? Oh, so John Caprio might be allegedly the man. They do look cute together. He got some small teeth, but anyway.
That's really upsetting to me, so I'd appreciate it if you didn't say that.
Cute Potato said he looks like Todd Chrisley. What you trying to say?
How you doing?
What you trying to say? All right. So apparently he comes from a very established family in Rhode Island. And I've seen pictures of the family. Okay. Okay. All right. I knew that wouldn't take long. I knew that would not take long. All right. Oh, what does he do? That's a good question. Hold on. Let's see. What does he do? Oh, hold on. So Facebook has been talking about this. They said, when you realize Real Housewives of Rhode Island, Kelsey Swanson is dating John Caprio, aka the son of Rhode Island's most beloved judge, Frank Caprio, who's passed away. But that's not enough for you to have all that money to be a judge. I need to know more. I'm sure we will find out more, y'all. Stay tuned. Like I'm already been talking for like over almost an hour and a half, and I got things to do today. It's a Friday. I don't know about y'all. But anyway, so back to this cast. And so the main issue that we see play out in the first episode of Real Housewives of Rhode Island is the fact that Rosie says that Joe Ellen was talking about her at a party that she was having, and she literally overheard her talking about her. Okay? So they end up having a picnic where they end up having a little bit of an argument. I don't understand why Joe Ellen feels like Rosie was talking mess about Kelsey, because it's very obvious that Kelsey has this sort of open relationship and is being taken care of by this man. So I don't know if I just feel like Joe Ellen was trying to create something there. Okay? Or maybe production was trying to create something there. But at one particular point, Rosie ends up crying. I will say this: Ashley, who's from The Bachelor, and her husband Jared, sweet relationship. They got a little something going on there. He's got a coffee business that's keeping him very, very busy, but he's not really passionate about it, and she wants him to be passionate about something. One thing that stood out to me: both a beautiful couple, Ashley and Jared from The Bachelor. Bachelor in Paradise is where they met. That jawline that they both have, those kids' jawline are going to be sick. They have such sharp jawlines. I was like, wait, people pay money for those jawlines. I don't know if they paid money for those jawlines, but those jawlines between the two of them, just say, cute couple though. It seemed like they genuinely like each other. I can't say that for all the couples, but I felt like there's a genuine respect and love there. I thought it was funny. And the reason why I thought of them, I thought it was funny when Ashley was talking about bringing the $6 wine that she brought to the party that Rosie brought. And even the husband, Jared, was just like, yeah, that was pretty cheapish. That was pretty cheapish to bring a $6 bottle of wine. What do you guys think? Okay. But so that's the main issue that's playing out between Joe Ellen and Rosie. So Joe Ellen at her 4th of July party tells Kelsey that Rosie has been talking about her. And again, I don't understand why Kelsey's reacting the way that Kelsey's reacting. It's like she's getting emotional. Like, I don't like people talking about my relationship. Girl, I'm sure the majority of Rhode Island knows that you're a kept woman. Okay? Oh, Kings of Kings says Frank Caprio was a great judge. Love his videos. So a lot of people liked him. But what does the son do? Like, where's the money coming from that he's able to live this life? Like, he lives 6 months out of the year in Rhode Island, and has this woman just living this, like, she's living a lifestyle. She has a driver. She's got help. All right. And Savannah says she could have gotten a $16 bottle of wine. I didn't know that you could buy wine for $6. Okay, like, where are we getting this $6? I guess for the everyday person, meaning like you're taking that bottle of wine home and that's what you prefer. But to go to someone's house, you could spend at least $20 on some wine. You know what I mean? What wine was that she brought that was $6? Was it Trader Joe's wine? I heard Trader Joe's wine is good though. I don't know. I don't know if it's $6. Walmart? Oh, okay. Even Jared was like, that's pretty cheapish. All right. So Joe Ellen sparks the firecrackers. Okay, Rosie, you're not doing us justice, us Tauruses, when you bring a bouquet of fireworks. It wasn't even presented in a beautiful way. Like, that could have been something beautiful to do, but it seemed even cheap the way that you did it. But she brought a better bottle of wine. All right. Oh, wait, Aldi's? Big Miss Muffin says $6 wine is good from Aldi's. I'm just saying. Okay. All right. Danielle says a bottle of Andre is still good and only $6. Oh, see, I don't drink, so you guys know I don't know, but I definitely have not brought $6 wine to anybody. Just saying. Like I still have some class about me. You know what I mean? So that's Rosie seems a little tacky, like she doesn't know what she's doing. I like Rosie. We didn't really even talk about Rosie's relationship besides her being a tourist. She's also in a relationship with an older man that she met when she was a newscaster. But now he's like a Frank Sinatra impersonator. I know he doesn't like that, but that's what you are, sir. He doesn't like being called that, but that's what you are. Like he has a bunch of different jobs or something like that. I like Rosie so far. I mean, there isn't anyone on this cast that I'm like, oh God, this person's gonna work my last good nerve. Or maybe there are. I don't know. But I thought it was a solid. I thought that it was a solid premiere. I thought it was a solid premiere. Rula, it seems like we'll be introduced to her next week. And don't forget, guys, this episode came out on Thursday, but they're going to be moving them to Black Sundays with Real Housewives of Atlanta. I can't promise you that I will be doing a separate recap of Real Housewives of Rhode Island. Maybe we'll talk about it briefly at the top of our Real Housewives of Atlanta recap. I don't even know if I want to even do that, to be honest. So I don't know. I mean, I liked the premiere episode. I'm going to keep watching. And I decided to bring it here to talk about it. But I don't know. Like, I'm not trying to add on just because Bravo decides to launch a new city that add on to me recapping every single Housewives show. I can't promise you that I'm going to even be recapping Orange County this season. So buckle up. that might not happen. Just saying. Exactly. Big Miss Muffin says doesn't like impersonator, but is impersonating. Yeah. Monique says right, because what is a Frank Sinatra singer? Like he needs to own it. He needs to own it. Thank you so much again, Tanya, for the incredible super sticker. We appreciate that. That's a big support right there. I appreciate it. Guys, we're almost at 500 likes. If you're just joining us, this is our Friday Live where we talk about a bunch of different hot topics and reality television. We were just talking about the premiere episode of Real Housewives of Rhode Island. Be sure to let us know your thoughts and opinions on that. We're going to get into Real Housewives of Beverly Hills in just a second. But first, I have an update. I have a Summer House update. Uh-huh. Oh, Ciara. Oh, Ciara. According to Page 6, they said Ciara Miller and Wes Wilson reportedly, quote, hooked up just a few weeks before the latter confirmed his secret romance with Amanda Batula in a bombshell statement. And they're thinking that this relationship between Amanda and Wes dates all the way back to June of last year. So that is what people are, what Page 6 is reporting. They said Miller and Wilson, who initially dated in 2023, got together about 3 or 4 weeks ago after he was hitting on her. An insider alleged to Us Weekly on Friday of the Summer House stars. Ciara didn't know anything about Amanda, though, the source claimed. No one did. I wonder if Amanda knew. Another source told the outlet that Miller, 30, and Wilson, 31, last hooked up in mid to late February. Similarly, a third person claimed the former couple were rekindling and seeing if they could work again recently. However, a fourth insider close to Wilson insisted allegation he was hooking up with Miller are not true. Page 6 has reached out to reps for Miller, Wilson, and Batula for comment. They haven't heard back. Miller and Wilson's relationship began shortly after they met filming the hit Bravo series in summer of 2023. The romance was featured throughout season 8, with the Bravo celebrities ultimately calling it quits that December. Meanwhile, Batula and her husband, fellow Summer House star Kyle Cook, announced their separation in January after 4 years of marriage. 2 months later, Batula, Miller's BFF, and Wilson were rumored to openly flirting and holding hands at an event in New York City. Speculation continued until Batula and Wes took to Instagram on Tuesday to confirm their quote, connection. In a joint statement, they wrote, "We've shown up for each other as friends over the years through all the highs and lows, and what developed recently was the last thing either of us expected. Our connection grew out of a genuine, long-standing friendship, which made it especially important for us to approach this with care. As our feelings evolved, we want to take time to understand exactly what we were feeling."
Lies! The lies!
There's their statement for those that may have missed it. Their joint statement. If you missed it yesterday, we really broke down some of the history and what this could mean, and just it's really crazy. Angela says Amanda is so mid and overrated. It's irritating. I have to say, I will be watching this reunion just because I wonder if this possible hookup between Ciara and West is going to make Amanda upset, or what their connection is. It exclusive? I mean, can it be exclusive, Amanda, when you're married? We also played for you yesterday when Kyle was stopped by an online journalist and comedian, Adam Glenn, and asked about what's been playing out. He was giving this very long-winded response. And he was like, I'm trying to be there for Amanda. She's getting a lot of hate online and da-da-da-da. All right. Rahina says, Ciara stood up for Amanda and supported her. I'm literally seeing that during this season. And so it is very interesting to see how this is all playing out. I did hear the rumors that Rihanna is trying to hook Ciara up with one of her A-list friends. Here's the thing. I think that's all well and good, but Ciara, based off of her choices, I believe that she needs time to really just work on herself, because the fact that she was even considering West again says to me she needs to heal. The last thing she needs to do is to jump into another relationship, because she's just going to carry that baggage and those issues along with her. But I get the sentiment. Some people believe to get over one guy is to get under another one. Yes, for fun, but that's it. That is it. Okay. So, Foxy says Ciara is a good person. She even brought her granddad's house. She even bought her granddad's house so that it could stay in the family. Oh, I mean, a lot of people like Ciara. I haven't really heard anyone say anything bad about Ciara besides the fact that she dated Wes. Like that's the worst thing that people have said that she's ever done, is dating Wes. All right. So I want to give you guys.
Brought to you by.
So I want to give you guys an update in regards to what's been going on there. So that's the latest report in regards to apparently Ciara and Wes may have hooked up several weeks ago in the middle of whatever might be happening between Amanda and West. I don't know. According to sources, they're saying, sources close to West are saying that that's not true. I believe it. Because even this season, if you're watching the current season of Summer House, then you see that there is sort of like the possibility of them rekindling. Like, why? Why? I don't get it. But anyway, I've digressed. So let's talk about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So I have to remind you, it was on Watch What Happens Live where Andy Cohen said that Kyle compared this trip to Italy to even worse than Amsterdam. And now that you've seen the entire trip to Italy, would you compare it anything even close to Amsterdam? Yes, we saw Kyle have a breakdown last week, getting so mad at Dorit. Here's my thing on the Dorit and Kyle of it all. I can't say that Kyle is a great friend. She's already said that she's never really been friends with Dorit. Now she wants to act like she's trying to be a friend. But I also don't think Dorit cares as much as she's trying to act like she cares. And I also don't believe that Dorit is authentic to anyone. And I have to agree with Kyle, like, oh, if Kyle says something, but if Bo says something, you're going to treat it very differently. And my favorite part of this episode was the argument between Erica and Dorit, because Erica got activated. The two cancers were fighting. They were like, nah. The two cancers were fighting. But I also feel like anytime that Dorit argues, I'm never impressed. It feels so performative. And I hate the fact that everyone is trying to downplay the fact that she's late. Why are we downplaying that? And I also don't love the fact that Kyle, how she's feeling on everyone else. And maybe we're not seeing everyone else talk about it, and that's why she's calling it out. But I will say this entire season, this entire Italy trip, I feel like Kyle has been trying to produce moments. Like what she tried to produce with Natalie. She tried to pull, was Natalie at the table? Hold on, wait a minute. I don't even remember Natalie being there. Oh, Natalie. I'm seeing why they didn't invite you to the reunion. And Kyle did try to give you a bone. She really did. I didn't agree with Kyle, but she tried to give you a bone. She calls you a liar. She tried to bring you in. And even that you couldn't, muster up anything else. Damn. I'm sorry, Natalie, but I'm not sorry. It's okay. It's better to be a dud than people hate you. People won't remember you. Damn. Rahina says, who is Natalie? Are you serious right now, Rahina? Now, who is Natalie? I forgot she was at the table. But like I said, my favorite part. So Kyle and Dorit are going back at it. Kyle did apologize for calling Dorit erratic. However, we said this before. I felt like when Bose and Kyle were having their conversation, Kyle was producing by calling Dorit erratic. I was like, what in the... Why are we calling her erratic? Why are you saying like she is... Why are you using these trigger words? But she apologized for it. But I'm still not on Kyle's side because I do feel like Kyle is being performative. You do not consider Dorit a friend at all. Now you want to make it seem like you're concerned about her and her spending. Are you really concerned about her and her spending? I don't know if you are. I don't think you are. I think you're producing a moment. But Dorit, I can't ride with you either because I feel like you're not going through anything because everyone's complaining about you running late, but you've been running late for years. So now trying to use the fact that you're going through a divorce as an excuse. I was so here for Erica to call her out on it. She was just like, are you more important than us? You're like, why were you late today? She was like, no, tell us. Why were you late today? I was checking on my children. Are you the only one with children here? Why couldn't you send us a text? Look, I'm never an Erica fan, but I was like, get her, Erica. Get her. Because it was true. It was so true. She's like, oh, and I didn't, and then she brings up the see you next Tuesday word. And she was like, oh, you want to bring up that word? I brought that word to this group. Because here's the thing. What triggered Erica was when Dorit said the only person at this table that's been a friend to her or it's been the most supportive of her at this table has been Bose. That triggered Erica. Because Erica's like, I've been your friend for a long time. I've supported you multiple times. And then production shows all the times that Erica has been supportive of Dorit. And I was like, don't y'all notice when they show flashbacks of Erica, her voice is different? And I'm like, what happened? What happened, Erica? So they show all the times that Erica has been there for Dorit. And I was like, well, she's bringing up a good point. I'm not going to deny this, though. When Dorit says that she feels like Erica is aligning herself with Kyle and is showing loyalty to Kyle and not to her, and she's not telling Kyle how she truly feels. I told you this last week. I do see some of that. And I think Erica aligns herself with Kyle because Kyle really is the queen of this show. And I think Erica's like, I need this check. So if I'm going to align with anyone on this cast, it's not going to be Dorit. It's going to be Kyle. Because at the end of the day, Kyle's going to keep me here because I'm loyal to her. Unless Kyle's not here. Those rumors have started. That happens every year. They're saying Lisa Rinna's coming back and Kyle's leaving. I don't know where y'all got that from. Probably Facebook. Kyle will be back next season. Unfortunately. Or not. Who knows? But I don't believe the rumors right now. So, but for me, my favorite part of the episode was the fact that Erica and Dorit fighting was my favorite part. But Erica was ripping her a new one. So they're going back and forth. I took notes, y'all, but I'm just doing this off the dome. they're going back and forth in their argument. She said, and at one particular point, Sutton had, I guess, told Kyle that Dorit says, I could have blown up her whole life. Well, that's not the way Sutton said it. Sutton basically says that she could have ended Kyle. And she's like, oh, so that Kyle feels like now she feels emboldened. She feels emboldened. She's just like, oh, see, you're talking about me. You're saying negative things about me. And that's not what Dorit said. So Dorit said I could have blown up her whole life, which is, tomato, right? Similar, right? Okay. Danny says Kyle needs a break from this show. We've been saying it. We need a break from Kyle. Let us miss her. We won't, but that's why she doesn't want to leave. Mind you, Amanda is sitting there. At least for 1 week, they weren't on Amanda. I'm listening to Amanda's new book, Rich AF. I have to give Amanda credit. I'm only on the first chapter of her book, and she calls out her own white privilege. And I said, Amanda, I'm only on the first chapter. And I'm like, Amanda's talking about her own white privilege, and she's talking about manifestation. Y'all, I'm only in the beginning, and I was like, oh, Amanda, you created this life. She's talking about in this book that's like 3 years old, making nearly $1 million a month. So when Amanda, who's come out as neurodivergent, when Amanda says she makes what her husband makes in a year, in a month, I was like, oh wait, so that doesn't mean her husband's poor. Her husband probably is making $1 million a year, which is not bad. But homegirl is making probably now in 20, and after we're talking about her book and everybody's talking about her book, everybody's reading her book now too. That's gonna go right back on up. She manifested even more money. Good for you, Amanda. Because let me tell you something. After I heard you talk about your white privilege in the book, because a lot of white people cannot own the fact that they have privilege, and I said, and this is why she continues to win. Look. Come on. All right. Whew. Yeah, I finished Brandy's book already, so that's why I've started this particular book. Big Miss Muffin says, I'm on Brandy's phases. It's great so far. I need her to narrate more for folks. She has a beautiful speaking voice, Brandy, along with a great singing voice. Come on. All right. Danielle's reading it too. Danielle says, I'm on chapter 2 and I'm enjoying it and doing the homework with it. Danielle, did you stand up in your chair when you read that she was talking about her own white privilege? I said, oh, okay, Amanda. Okay. For me, and I was like, this is why she continues to win. Good for you, Amanda. Anyway. Yep. GC says, wasn't Miss Esquire talking about that's why Bose is so mad at Amanda? Well, here's the thing. Bose was real quiet as a church mouse at that table. Don't y'all notice? She was real quiet at that table. So that's how the trip in Italy ends. It was that big blow up. Was that big blow up between Erica and Dorit bigger than Amsterdam? I would have to rewatch Amsterdam. But I still don't think I would compare. This trip we will forget. But I will say I was on Erica's side when she was fighting with Dorit. I was like, get her. Right? Danielle says, I'm doing the Audible book and I definitely had to rewind to make sure I heard it correctly. But that stood out to me in regards to Amanda's book, but just her talking about how she manifested the life that she manifested in the very beginning, I was like, okay, I'm enjoying this. But look, we like manifestation over here. Alma says Bose was so quiet. So she was just looking down at her food. And I was like, oh, Bose, you got nothing to say now? But you had a lot to say when you went to the photo shoot. Let's talk about the photo shoot. Okay, so they left. They all pack up and they leave Italy more separated than they were during the trip. Okay. So Dorit has a book cover photo shoot, and she thinks that this is a good idea to bring hype for the book. I've never seen that before, and maybe it is, but has the book even been written? No, it hasn't. She says the book is not even finished yet, but she wants to do a photo shoot. Dorit wanted to have a scene. That's what Dorit wanted to have. I don't think this has anything to do for promoting the book. But she wanted to have a scene. She wanted to talk more about the book during the season because the book hasn't even come out yet. I don't know when the book's going to come out, but none of us are going to read it. Unless there's something juicy in there, but none of us are going to read this book. So she has this photo shoot. Rachel ends up coming to the photo shoot, and Bose ends up coming to the photo shoot. I don't know what Bose had on, y'all, but y'all can talk about it in the comments. I don't know what the hair was looking like. I don't know what the outfit was looking like, but okay. So they're there looking at her do the photo shoot, and they're like, yay. So they're having a conversation about Italy and what went down in Italy. And Bose had more to say in that moment than she did at that table. Okay, she says that she's offering feedback without judgment while she feels like Kyle isn't doing that. But based on what Bose was saying, like, you did have a lot more to say, especially because if you're having financial trouble, literally now you fast forward, finding out that your home is back in pre-foreclosure again for the second time in 2 years. It says to me that you shouldn't be taking the money from your book to buy a bag. And apparently a lot of people feel that way in the group, including your friend Bose. But Bose says that her feedback is coming without judgment. Okay. Dorit says that Erica has been riding the fence between her and Kyle for a while now. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention during the fight between Erica and Dorit, after Dorit walked away, Erica got emotional, started crying because she was just like, she loves Dorit and she loves Kyle and she feels like she's in between. That's the cancer. For people that forget this about Erica, very much like a cancer, the crab, hard shell on the outside, but really on the inside, they're very emotional. So I'm just looking at Erica like, you're really a cancer. When I look at Dorit, I don't see cancer. This is why you need to know people's rising and moon and things like that, because I don't see cancer from her. I don't know what I see from Dorit, because I just don't feel like we know who the real Dorit is. For a long time, y'all didn't know that Dorit smoked. We got to see it last season, and now she's smoking more openly. But word on the street, shout out to Crystal Kung Minkoff, there are a lot of reasons that she's late is because she's busy smoking. She's a smoker. Who's smoking in 2026? Apparently some people. That business is still happening. But apparently she's still out there smoking. That's such a disgusting habit. Sorry, no judgments to the people that smoke here, but judgment. Wave Keith says, I get Libra from Dorit. Damn. Mr. Melon Magic says Dorit gives Taurus. No, she does not. No, she does not. Block him. Foxy, block him. No, I'm playing. All right. So back to the photo shoot. Rachel randomly brings up her birthday. She's like, guys, mind you, they're talking about the situation with Erica. And I will agree with Dorit. I do feel like Erica only believe that and see that. So Rachel randomly brings up, she's like, guys, on a lighter note, I hate my birthday. So I like to have something and, not make it about me. And I'm like, where did this come from? Like, where did this come from? Like, this is so random. She's so performative. We do get another scene with her and her son, Sky, shopping, and she's checking in on him. She talks about wanting him to work, and he's going to work at this shop. But first, he's going to go drop a bag at the shop because he's picking out all the stuff. I'm sure he paid a lot of money for the stuff that he picked out. And she talks about her first job was at the Short Hills Mall. Did you live in Short Hills, Rachel? Because that says to me that you grew up not poor or not even middle class, because Short Hills Mall, that's where Whitney Houston would be shopping. Okay. We mean no GC. We mean no sound. It's working on my end. You guys might want to swipe out and come back on in. It's working on my end. Okay. See, Flip Virgo says had to close the app out and come back in. Had to close the app out and come back in. No, Miss Janice. Janice is not me. It's the app. It's the app. Okay? Because it's working on my end. I have tech here that tells me. Okay? Swipe out. Okay? Testing. Miss Parker says, I have sound loud and clear. Twitch fam, can y'all hear me? Did it go out for you? Look, Nicole says, I hear you fine. It's probably the app, y'all. Swipe out, come back in. Swipe out, come back in. Paula says, you're fine. All right. Look up. Okay, see? Twitch says they can hear me. I can usually tell. If I mute myself, I could tell, I have things that tell me if there's sound or not. WaveKey says, is your Verizon network? It's not me. Okay. Angel says, it's T-Mobile. Deborah says, leave and come back, y'all. Leave and come back. Y'all can't hear me for those that... Okay, GC said, I'm back. It's the app. Hey, Vivi Vidal, were you here when I read your postcard? Vivi Vidal, were you here when I read your postcard? Thank you for the postcard, Vivi Vidal. Got my postcard. Thank you. All right. Okay. Tanasa says that you buffered and then there was a delay. I can see and hear you. It has to be the YouTube app because the other people that are watching on other platforms can hear me and see me without an issue. All right. Jetta says, now their sound was after going out. Now there's sound after going out. Sorry for blaming The Wire. The Wire, look, have y'all been keeping count all my lives that I've had? And no frozen. Look, not frozen. Here I is. All right. All right, guys, be sure to like the video if you haven't already. We're almost at 600 likes. This is our Friday Live. I will be adding the timestamps later. Miss Sharon, thank you so much for the super chat, Miss Sharon, and for being a member. It is a members only live chat. Miss Sharon says, if the Yankees are playing, I'm not watching. Why? Oh, wait, you're not watching what? Oh, if the Yankees are playing, you're not going to watch whatever we're talking about? Okay. Oh, Flip Virgo says, this time the cord and Kempire is not to blame. The YouTube app has been acting up a lot in the last few months, to be honest, because there's been quite a few times where I've had to tell people to swipe out and come back on in. That's been happening for a few months now. And that's something very new. So I don't know why the sound went out, but here we are. All right. Exact. Thank you, Deborah. Deborah said, Wire 0, Kempire 100. GC says, this time, y'all are terrible. Let me finish with my Real Housewives of Beverly Hills recap so I can get out of here. I've been talking for nearly 2 hours. But let me say thank you to another sponsor. I know you're probably tired of hearing people say, new year, new me. However, it can be a new year and a new you. Everyone is trying to get back into the gym. They're trying to do some weight loss things. You may have also heard of GLP-1s. Well, our friends over at RHOBH has gotten you covered with the new GLP-1 pill. The pill is a new, more convenient and approachable way to GLP-1s if you've been thinking about it. A self-administered shot can be a bit intimidating. But now there's a pill that delivers comparable results. If you've been thinking about getting on a GLP-1, RHOBH might be the way to do it. They have 100% online care, access to clinically proven, FDA-approved medications, free insurance checks, side effect management, dosing support, and more. RHOBH offers the first FDA-approved GLP-1 pill for weight loss at the lowest cost around. The new GLP-1 pill has the same weight loss ingredient as the shot and packs comparable results to the shot. It can help patients lose 14% of their body weight in a year on average. This is based on a study in non-diabetics with obesity or overweight plus a weight-related condition with diet and exercise. You may have also seen Serena Williams talk about collaborating and endorsing RHOBH as well. As a world-class athlete, she also wanted to drop pounds after having children. If I had needed this particular option, this is what I would use. A pill versus a shot? Why not? Go to ro.co/Kempire to see if you're eligible for the new GLP-1 pill on RHOBH. That's ro.co/Kempire to get started on RHOBH. Go to ro.co/safety for box warning and full safety information about GLP-1 medication. More details on your discount and more will be available in the description. And we're back. Shout out to everyone. Shout out to all of our sponsors. You know, that's how we pay the bills. I know some of y'all don't like all the sponsors, but look, that's how we pay the bills, okay? So thank you to all of our sponsors for today. More information on the sponsors will be available in the description. But also you can support guys by liking today's video. Shout out to our replay crew. Replay crew, be sure to let us know your thoughts on everything. We covered a lot today. A lot. And we're going on 2 hours and I still have more to say when it comes to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I'm not going to take callers today because I got things to do. It's a Friday. I also have to rest my voice. Okay. Let me say thank you. We had, your agent Keela says, hey, I'm late. I'm reading Amanda's book. She's so powerful in the book. Very different than the show. Do you see how this show has helped Amanda's business? They try to take Amanda's business down, but it actually has helped her business. The opposite effect of what it's probably doing for Bose and Bose's business. Or I don't know what business. I know you're probably thinking, what business? Her workshop. She has a workshop too. Vivi Vidal, thank you so much. Let me shimmy. Let me shimmy for the $50. Thank you so much for my postcard that I got and for this super chat of $50. This comes with the card. Thank you so much, Vivi Vidal. I love it. I love that photo too. You and the horse. Love it. Shout out to all of our members. Angel is a member for 12. It's your anniversary. Thank you so much, Angel. Angel says, Kemp, I want to tell you I turned on your quad video last night. My 3-year-old said, are you watching Kempire? I love Kempire. He does all the work. Aw, thank you. The kids love, I need to put that on a t-shirt. The kids love Kempire. They do. Shout out to our Kempire kids. All right, back to this, because speaking of Bose, I have some thoughts on Bose. Bose and Chilli go house shopping, y'all. Remember, Bose lost her home in Malibu due to the fires. So I'm thinking she's shopping to replace that home. I don't think she's going to get rid of the other home. I don't believe that Chilli is buying this home with Bose. And I don't want to jump and believe that all these women are coming on these shows and bringing fake boyfriends. But there's something that the more I watch Chilli and Bose's relationship, that's giving performative, it's giving fake. It's actually giving more performative and fake than Quad and King. And if you missed it, I did do a video yesterday. We didn't talk about it today because we had so much to talk about. But I did do a video yesterday talking about Quad and King. Now they're going back and forth on social media. Well, not back and forth, but there's more playing out in regards to that relationship. Mods, can we post a link to that video in the chat? Lene Views on Twitch says, Chilli is the real Walter. What do you say?
How you doing?
What do you say? There's something about their relationship. So in this scene, Bose and Chilli go to look at this $5.7 million home. And you know me, I love to look at property. So I'm all here for it. I don't care about this relationship, but it gets very performative. Even when he's like, I'm going to get the door for you. And I'm not saying that guys don't do that. It just feels like he's doing that for us. Because at one particular point, go back and rewind the tape. Brooke, you gonna have a field day with this. I need to watch Brooke. Brooke is recapping later today, right, Brooke? What's up, Brooke? Brooke's recap is right after mine. Brooke is gonna have a field day with this Chilli and Bose of it all. I don't even know Brooke's thoughts on this. I need to ask her thoughts on this. She probably like desperado, because he looked at one particular point when he's opening the door for Bose to get out of the car. He looks over to the camera, and I'm just like, oh Lord, something's not right about this relationship. So they go in, they're looking at the property and they're looking at the room, and she's like, oh, I don't know if this is big enough. Like, where are you gonna put your clothes and blah blah blah. Bose says that she feels like this is the first step for her and Chilli, even though they aren't engaged yet. Very much like what my thoughts on Quad and King going through this whole baby thing without even knowing where they were going to live, whether they were going to get married. A lot of people criticize Chilli and Bose in their relationship last season. Like, you're trying to have a baby with a man and he hasn't said I love you yet. So now I'm like, you're trying to have a baby with this man. He hasn't proposed to you yet. Maybe there are promises of marriage, but he hasn't proposed to you yet. And now you're looking at a multi-million-dollar property. Based on what we've seen of Keely's money, I don't think he could afford a $5.7 million home. And I'm not saying that that he couldn't potentially, based on what we know of Keely and his IMDb, I don't think that Keely can afford this home. I think that she's going to buy this home. I don't think this is a real relationship, y'all. I don't think this is a real relationship at all. Yeah, Angel says Brooke's gonna whack her a few times with honesty. She needs it. She needs it, but she's the type of person that's not going to listen to anyone. She's dead set on having this relationship. Will they get married? I don't know if they're going to get married, to be honest with you. I don't believe this relationship. I don't believe he's going to buy this house. Some of us speculate that she bought her ring. Right? They do show, I guess they must have filmed at his home. Even when she talked about going through his things, it didn't seem authentic. It didn't translate for me that it was authentic in regards to, she's like, oh, I went through his things. I didn't find anything. I didn't find anything. I don't even think he knows about that. But she says this in her confessional. It's giving very performative. I don't believe this relationship. You see from the preview for next week, he's going to propose to her. The reunion's happening later this month. We already knew that they were engaged because that was a big thing that was put out there. GC says $50 should be more than a shimmy. What the hell do you want from me? You want my legs in the air? GC? What you think this is, GC? What you want? You want to get on the pole? What is going on? What do you want for $50, GC? GC said it should be more than a shimmy. I did get more than a shimmy. I said a shimmy, and then I did this. Yes. You want me to get on the pole? What do you want for $50? What do you want for $50? Lord have mercy. Lord. All right. Lord have mercy. Sharon, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. Miss Sharon says, if the Yankees are playing, I'm not watching Housewives. Yankees won today 8-2. Thank you, Miss Sharon, for the update. Hilarious. So I don't know. Based on what I am not take it off. Deborah says, take it off. You know what? I care with y'all. Y'all treat me like a piece of meat. Okay? Me too. Me too. Exactly. Angel says GC wants to see you actually twerk on a fence, Kempire. Right? Miss Parker says, Kev, you got to do a little twerk. Okay, hold on. Y'all can't see it. I'm twerking right now. I am twerking right now. Y'all can't see it. Okay? All right. Miss B Wood says, we can be the fence. Y'all are a mess. Okay? All right. So in regards to Keely and Bozema St. John's relationship, I'm not feeling it. I haven't been feeling it. It doesn't feel authentic. It doesn't feel real. The scenes with them feel so awkward and forced. I could give them grace because I said Quad and King scenes felt a little awkward too. Maybe they just don't know how to film reality television. I don't know. I don't know. Do you think she bought her ring? Do you think that she's buying that house? I think it's a house that she's buying, but I don't think he will be buying it with her. Will his name be on it? Probably not. What exactly does Keely do? I've word on the street that he works in marketing too, but he's not an executive. He's not a part of the C-suite. So I don't know how much money he's making, but okay. All right, I've digressed. What else did I want to say? So at the end, this is a to be continued, this episode, because they're at Rachel's birthday party, and they asked Rachel what's her age, and she's like, I'm 37 for forever. Rachel, you've been a hard 37 forever. Because I have to say, before she got the work done, That was a hard, whatever age Rachel was at the time. I was like, whoa. And then she got I think she got a facelift, right? I mean, it had to be a facelift. I was like, she looked a little bit better, but still, that's a hard. Okay, 37. I don't know what, but fine. But you know what I love? What I love about Rachel's return to reality television is her son Caius. Caius is an old soul. At one particular point, he's checking in all the guests to her birthday party. So funny. And then Caius sees Erica Jane. He checks her in. He's like, Erica Jane, and you're in. Brings her in. Caius says, oh, I love your hair. It reminds me of Dolly Parton. I love Caius. He's my favorite part of any scene with Rachel Zell. Such a big personality. Cutie patootie. Love Caius. Kyle comes in. I mean, Kyle, you've given us this look before. Like, this was not even an original look. Because it's like a theme party. Like, what is it? Like 70s party something? So, I have to say, I will say, I did like Bose's look. Rachel looked the same. Just a different moo-moo. Okay? Kyle says, and there goes the bag again. So she's making comments about Dorit coming with that damn Kelly bag again. Kyle can't help herself. She cannot help herself. And that was the episode. If you guys had to rate this week's episode, I didn't even put it in the chat, but Replay Crew live chat, how would you rate this week's episode of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? Are you just over and ready for the reunion to be here? Some of you are not even watching it. And I get it. I have to watch it, though. I watched it twice. Tanasa, and I see you're from your photo. Tanasa says, Rachel will be 55 this year, and I will be 54. Damn. Look at Tanasa. Let me bring up Tanasa's photo. Tanasa looks great for 54. Does she and Rachel Zoe look like age equivalents?
Lies! The lies!
They do not. Not in the least bit. Okay. RC says a surprising 8.5 this week. And it's probably because of that fight between Dorit and Erica. I didn't think it was a bad episode because I have to say that particular scene for me was like the best part of the episode. I thought it was a decent episode. I probably would give it an 8. I'm going to give this week's episode an 8. Janice gave it a 7.5. Damn, Angel says 0. I'm still not watching. Well, damn. Lorena gave it an 8. All right. Oh, Nicole says, I don't watch it until Garcelle comes back. I don't think Garcelle should come back. I think they would want Garcelle to come back, but I don't think Garcelle should come back. Jamaki says, I don't watch, but I thank you for your service, Kempire. Well, damn. All right. All right, y'all. I would take callers, but I'm not today. I've been talking a lot, and I just want to go. I have things to do, people to see, business to take care of, all that good stuff. Tax season is here, guys. We're almost at 600 likes. Be sure to like the video if you haven't already. Thank you to all of our sponsors. Thank you to all of you for being members. It was a members only live chat. If you're part of the Replay Crew, be sure to let us know your thoughts on Real Housewives of Rhode Island, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Ladies of London. West and Ciara may have hooked up weeks ago. Jen Shah did an interview with People Magazine. I don't think I saw any accountability. Worse than Karen Huger. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts. GC says, a twerk or show a little leg for that $50. And mind you, you're not the one who sent the $50. Really? All right. Thank you guys for liking the video. I will see you all in the replay. I'm going to try and not work this weekend. Last weekend, I was trying not to work, but then the Chilli of it all. We also talked about Chilli today from TLC. I'm going to try. Hopefully, it'll be a quiet weekend. And I will see you on Monday, probably Monday morning or Monday afternoon, for our Real Housewives of Atlanta recap. Real Housewives of Atlanta premieres this Sunday. You're welcome, Bravo. You're not paying me, but you should. You should, but y'all too cheap. Apparently, money's tight. Maybe all that money that y'all paying Andy Cohen. You know what I realized? Never mind. I'll talk about it somewhere else. Club Kempire, I owe you an episode, so I'll work on that this weekend. That's one thing of work that I'll work on this weekend, and I'll talk about the Brandy book launch event that I attended. Thank you to our King's Guards. Thank you to our channel members. Thank you to our subscribers that are still watching. I see you guys, and those of you that are not watching yet, be sure to watch. All right, y'all. I'll see you on the next one. Bye, y'all. Here we go now.